Third Phase of Moon. My name is Blake Cousins, and we're live taking your calls from around the world. If you have a UFO sighting, an experience with aliens, have you been abducted yourself, now's the time to call live to Third Phase Moon and speak to Blake Cousins and my brother Brent right here standing by in Hawaii. And we also have special correspondent, team member from Los Angeles, Dr. J. Andy Elias, will also be with us. And the number to call in is 347-934-0378. Excuse my voice. I'm just kind of recovering. My voice has been lost for the past couple days, but it is regaining its strength back, and it's a good feeling. And I'm pleased to have Dr. J. Andy Elias. We're going to be taking calls from around the world. He's here with us right now. Dr. J., anything new to report?
Right, but in the meantime.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I just got bumped off, and I see that the chat line, the switchboard's piling up, and I want to get to calls right away. But everybody stand by. I got area code 213, I got a 765, and an area code 540. We're going to be getting to you shortly. I just wanted to get back, and we're back online, Third Phase of Moon, and the number to call in is 347-934-0378. And feel free to ask questions in the flash chat. Dr. J., let's just go over some of the videos that were just submitted. The Mirror magazine from the UK picked up on a show that we did, exclusive interview with Joe Rodriguez, private investigator in Los Angeles. And basically the video went viral. The UK picked it up. It's going mainstream in the UK. Third Phase of Moon's on the map. What's your opinion on this and Joe Rodriguez down on the ground doing what he was doing?
I think that is huge news. The Daily Mirror, for all those who don't know or have not been to England, is a huge newspaper. For them to type something in there regarding UFOs is basically akin to the New York Times writing an article. And not only did they write an article that was very open-minded and really was good for Third Phase of Moon and for Joe Rodriguez, they were really saying why Joe Rodriguez is so credible, being a private researcher. He came there to debunk and consistently catching stuff. I thought that was just a great thing. It seems like things are finally going in the right direction.
We get videos from around the world, and some people want to remain anonymous, and we could understand that. Joe Rodriguez is a brave man coming out, putting his reputation on the line and going out and sharing these videos and letting the people decide. And then there are other people that, Third Phase gets these incredible videos, but then people don't want to put their name and place to it. And we're in this area where should we be totally fluid with our information and letting the whole public decide, or should we, suppress the videos that are coming in and, maybe these videos will never be seen again? Let's take some callers right now. Area code 540 is with us. Welcome to Third Phase of Moon. You're live.
Hey, how's it going?
We're doing pretty good tonight. We are taking calls. You had a UFO experience?
Yeah.
You think about
yeah,
that?
Yeah, I'm calling from Virginia. I don't want to use my name. I'll just say my name is Joe.
Okay, Joe.
But I kind of I didn't want to sound too crass or anything, but I walked in a restaurant one time to just relieve myself, and I was standing, and I heard my name called. And I looked out, something said, look out the window. I looked out the window, and lo and behold, there was something in the air. Freaked me out.
What did this happen?
How? This happened about 2.5 months ago. I mean, my name was called, and I looked out, and I seen red, blue, green, white, and it was huge.
What do you think?
I've seen a jet, huh?
Before this experience, were you a believer or non-believer?
Well, I mean, I know there's something going on. I know something. I think the government's behind some of it too. I think it's kind of entwined. I think that's my belief on it. I've done a lot of studying on it. I've had my computer cleaned off 3 times, completely erased.
Dr.
I have my phone echo.
I wanted to ask you, can you describe what you're looking at? Do you think it was a craft? Do you think it was a living being?
It was dark. It was red, blue, green lights that were on the bottom of it, and they were moving quick.
When you said your name was called, was it? Did you hear it, or was it more like a telepathic thing? You heard it in your head?
No, I heard it. It was in one ear is what I heard.
What was the voice like? Was it female, male?
Male.
That's very interesting. Well, you're definitely not the first. There's several cases this lake.
It kind of freaked me out because I've never had it happen to me before, and people don't believe. You know how it goes. And I was outside, I have animals I feed, ducks and stuff, and I was outside, and I happened to look up, and I seen a jet, and I thought, well, it's leaving a chemtrail. Here we go again, leaving these chemtrails. Here we go. So I started to watch it, and I looked up and said, wait a minute, it's not leaving the chemtrail. It's a jet. It looks like a fighter jet. And it was up high enough where I could see it, but when I looked in front of it, you know, from the distance I was from it, pretty good ways, it was a bale. And I went, oh, my God, what's going on here? And it was chasing it. And it chased it in through the clouds, and the jet came through the clouds, and it did come back out.
So you're saying that there was a military operation that was actual?
I don't know. I've seen jets roll. I don't want to go into too much. I ain't the only one seen it here.
Virginia, there must be a military base close by to you, correct?
Yeah, there is. There definitely. It's over in Hampton near the beach down there. It's not that far away. It's about 200 miles. It would take long for a jet to get there. But I live near an airport. What better way to hide?
Well, Joe, what a great way to start off this radio show. The switchboard's still piling up. We're going to get to everybody here in a moment. Everybody stand by. Anything you want to else say to the Third Phase of Moon listeners and viewers right now?
Well, I know somebody here in my house that saw something that they were out riding around. They were kin to me, and they were out riding around. And I heard a bunch of sirens, and I didn't know what was going on. And now, remember, I'm living near an airport. I mean, fire trucks went flying out, cop cars went flying out. I didn't know what was going on. And when the person came home, they were telling me about the experience. I said, well, what did you see? They said they seen a cylinder-long craft with red lights on it. I said, man, that sounds familiar, like one of those things called a Drake craft, called a Draco, one of them Drakes. So they call it the long cylinder.
Well, I wanted
come
to
up over the car and took off.
I want to say, Joe, I wanted to give a credit to, right now we're playing a video. We're going to play it on Third Phase of Moon YouTube when we rebroadcast this radio show of the JSB 007 UFO hunter out of the UK just shot this video 2 days ago, and it lasts for about 12 to 14 minutes of incredible aircraft. We don't know what it is. In my opinion, I really believe it's military, but it's very advanced.
Yeah, they got them. Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounded like the exact same thing you've been witnessing, Joe. These things don't look like anything that you've ever seen. It's straight out of, like, Close Encounters. Joe, just stand by. We've got to take some calls. We're going to get back to you, Joe. We want to get everybody in tonight's Third Phase of Moon radio show. Area code 765. You're live, Third Phase of Moon. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing? I was the guy that called you a few minutes ago via Skype talking about that thing that looked like a speaker.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We wanted to get you on the radio show tonight because we're looking for opinions from around the world. That's what it's all about. Share the opinion, getting it out. What was your you were saying to me just a little earlier, a few minutes on Skype, that you know what it is. Go ahead and
like I've dealt, like most of my life I've had an electric range stove or an electric type of stove, and every single one of them has had a pan in them underneath the burner, and on the side of the pan they've got a massive hole to where the two prongs for the burner go in to connect the positive and negative to get your charge. And all they did was take that pan out of there with a hole in the top of it, glue a few things to it, and spray paint it. You can even still see the rust on the edge of side of one of them. The one that goes over that building itself, you can actually see the rust on the side of the pan. And if you look underneath it, you can see where the curve is to go outward as the prongs would go into the connectors. And then on top of it, it looks like they glued the knob to the top of it. But I still don't quite have it down on how they could have made it fly. But I'm thinking CGI overlay, like they filmed the prop itself and overlaid it over a background scenery to eliminate the string or any fuzziness you would see around the actual craft. But I'm dead set convinced it's a pan from an electric stove.
Yeah, we've been getting, I think we've had probably about 2,000 comments just on Third Phase YouTube alone on what people think this object is in the sky. Their array came up. It's a boom speaker. It's like you just said, a drip pan. Or
I've never seen a speaker that had a solid base to it around the bottom of it. The sound has to be able to be let out the back of the speaker itself to go into the box to create the acoustic sound of the thump. And in this, there would be no way for the sound waves to actually escape out the back.
We're letting, we looked at the video. We're blowing it up as much as we can. And we're doing our best, and we're letting, we're trying to get in.
I understand. I'm a dead set believer. You know what I mean? I came to the realization of the ancient astronaut theory before I even knew who Dan Vonnegut was. I didn't even know that other people thought this. I thought I was going to be crazy for thinking it. But it seems like everything points to that, and due to the fact of starting to believe that, the Bible makes total sense. More sense than mystical magic. But back to the craft, the second video that he took where he said it came back, you can tell by gravity effects that it's hanging from a string with the slight tilt that it gets. And also the difference between the two videos is that the rotation on the first one is much faster than the second one. So he didn't quite get the speed, the spin matched.
The opinion is quite, obviously, if this is a drip pan on a string, well, third phase of moon might have just been duped. We're trying to get answers from Lance Robertson. He's a bit dodgy on the questions, but when we saw this video,
he seemed to be a little bit more defensive when you guys were asking him what it was, and he started getting a little bit defensive about it. And I was like, wait a minute, he don't sound like he's telling the truth. So I started getting into it more, playing the video multiple times, trying to research what I could, and I'm on a Galaxy 3 tablet, so it's like 1080p HD. And I'm just convinced it's not real because, the conventional craft would have to be hollow from the inside out, not have an outer shell that looks like a dome with nothing in the middle of it. Most of the legitimate crafts that I've seen from the Project Blue Book videos, most authentic reports that are on the news, nothing is hollow underneath it. It looks more like a thick saucer, a double-sided saucer. You know what I mean? Or it'll be lights up in the sky. And I've seen some lights. You know what I mean? We had a power outage here in Newcastle, Indiana. And it was like when we first moved into our apartment complex, half the town went completely out of power conveniently. And then about 15 minutes later, I'm like hollering at my wife, trying to get her to come outside to see these 4 white squares just slowly coasting over our complex. And you couldn't see no body because of how black the sky was and how dark it was. But you could clearly make out these 4 squares that looked like they were just broad window panes. Just windows. Just coasting over our buildings. And ever since then, ever since 2012, things have been escalating. I've been seeing more things, but I ain't got no explanation behind those, so I just kind of leave those alone because they could be anything.
Area code 765, appreciate the call. You stand by. We're going to be also getting back to his, experience in this incredible video out of Colorado. It's made a sensation on the internet. 765 claims it's still a drip pan from a range, and definitely it does resemble that. But we've put it into many people's hands. There's thousands of comments on there, and other people absolutely believe that this is in the sky. This is actually a real flying saucer. Maybe it was constructed by, maybe somebody's using drip pans to fly things. How did they fly it? That's the whole thing. We don't know, but appreciate that. 765. We're going to be taking more calls from around the world right now. I think we got let's go with area code 323. Welcome to Third Phase Moon.
It's Joe Rodriguez. How are you, buddy?
Joe Rodriguez, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Let me say something about that. Like I said last week, that thing in Colorado does not fit the same type of UFOs we've been videotaping. And you know what? Last week I said something about the voices in the background. There are no children screaming and saying, "What is that, Daddy? Daddy, what is that?" or a wife saying anything. It's just this one guy, talking to himself. The other thing is, there's a reason why he does not wide-angle pan out on the video. If you see my videos on Joe Rodriguez UFO, especially specifically these 2 that I just took recently, these amazing ones that went viral.
Absolutely, Joe. You follow the 5-step program, the Third Phase of Moon 5 steps, and you got it down to a T. First step, you observe and be aware of your surroundings. Absolutely, you did that. Second, you have a camera on you and you start shooting. Third, you stabilize yourself. Fourth, you start to, zoom in, get perspective, foreground. And fifth, you submit it to third phase of moon and share it with the world, and then the rest is history.
Right. Here's another one. Very important. Get witnesses if you can.
That would be the icing on the cake. Lance Robertson.
On both of my cases, I'm sorry to interrupt. On both of my cases, I wasn't able to because I was on a case myself, so I couldn't compromise my investigation. But believe me, I would have banged on doors and I would have said, hey, come out, look at this. Is this really what I'm seeing here? I would have said something.
Hey, Dr. J, do you have any questions for private investigator Joe Rodriguez, who just joined us?
Not so much about that, but I kind of starting to about the Colorado footage. Initially, I was thinking this is the cream of the cream, but as the guy, personally, I'm starting to think he's taken you guys and us, the team as a whole, as a ride, just by being so evasive and all that. He's on one hand, he's saying, tell me what it is, I want to investigate this. And then he gets offers to be investigated, and he turns it down. So you would think that by just that, he realized he doesn't want to be in the spotlight. Then why come back a second time with more footage and begging you to investigate again and still dodging the main question? So at this point, I'm really starting to think it's either A, CGI hoax of a speaker or a heat lamp, or B, that it's possibly one of those quadcopters with a fake UFO styrofoam on it, or something along the lines of that. It's only because of the witness. Obviously, we haven't done this in-depth analysis to see if it's CGI or to see if it's actually in the video and it's flying in the background, but without the witness in law, we don't have evidence, and therefore this evidence is impeachable without him, and that's where I'm starting to believe now.
Well, Dr. Elias, may I say something?
Sure.
I don't have witnesses on my videos, but what I have on my favor is that I panned out. And I show there's no crane holding something or whatever. I went as far as panning out where you don't even see the items anymore. And then
but you're available to talk. When I mean witnesses, I mean the guy who filmed it. You're available to talk, not only are you available to talk, you actually did all the steps of panning out and getting reference points. So you are a credible witness, and your video becomes credible because of that. What you filmed is definitely in the sky. That I totally agree with, and I totally agree with what you filmed in the sky being anomalous at that too.
Right.
It's the big stigma of capturing a UFO, witnessing a UFO, and then going out to the public and saying, okay, I did capture this UFO, this is where I live, here's my family, and then next thing you know, the guy's a banker at a banking institution or what have you, and then he's fired the next day. And there's a lot of that going around. We know a lot of people that have real credible people that submit UFOs. I'm not saying this Lance Robertson video is legitimate. We've actually asked him to come on the show tonight. We're hoping he calls in. He's not calling in. He's dodging it. He doesn't want to, I don't think, want to deal with this kind of action. But you know that there is that still honest people out there that submit videos that just because you don't have the story in the background doesn't mean what's on the video is what it is. And it's something absolutely incredible, extraterrestrial in origin. Who knows? It's unidentified, and that's what the whole point is. Your opinion, Joe?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I was just going to say something else regarding my videos. The UK two newspapers picked up my story regarding that video that you put on that came out on Third Phase of Moon.
Absolutely. We just spoke about it earlier on the show and spoke about the mirror and the whole major European backup in the mainstream media following Third Phase of Moon and wanting the story. It's absolutely fantastic. Hey, Joe, just stand by. We're going to be taking everybody's going to get in tonight. Let's go to area code 213. I think the Los Angeles phone number. Welcome to Third Phase.
Yes. How you doing?
Is this another correspondent, you would say, from Los Angeles? It sounds like Vince Pounds, who also submitted some photos last radio show, and his videos did quite well. It was up to like 30 or 40,000 and going of this massive mothership disguising itself as a star over Los Angeles, Vince?
Exactly. And just by doing a little research on YouTube, I recognize that other people have observed it just as well, but I don't think they've quite focused in what the technique that I use. They've done it prior to what I've submitted mine as well, and people are pretty concerned about it in the West, but it's not where it's like going out of proportion and everybody's going crazy. Most people will like look over their shoulders and say, yeah, that's something unusual. It's different. Now, it's not Venus, because we all know Venus in the West Coast shows up at 7 a.m., not 7 p.m. Okay, so I look out of my window, my apartment, and I can see Venus just sitting there in the morning. This star basically descends over the horizon just after the sun descends, and it's super bright, and it looks. We have an LAX nearby, and we have jet planes leaving LAX, coming and going, but you'll see a jet plane in the sky. It's just as bright as a jet plane, and it's the way it looks like it's approximately the same altitude as a jet plane, and it just sits there though for the rest of the evening up until like 7:15, 7:30, and it pretty much descends past your view over the trees or the horizon. And
that we've been getting a lot of feedback from the pictures that you've sent, and we highlighted them and put a lot of brightness, contrast, and there was a lot of depth and clearness on these, and it doesn't seem like it's blurred out or anything. And the response and the comments that we've been getting in from people who submitted video responses to your shot around the world, hey, the response is absolutely very interesting. People took it as an incredible information, and it was really well received in the UFO community. So I'd have to say good job, Vince, on submitting those. And you will be, I know you're uploading a big higher res video of the exact same thing with dimensions, zooming in out. So we're looking forward to that, Vince. I want to get to other callers on the show, and we're going to get back to everybody, but we want to get everybody just chimed in and introduce themselves on the show, and we still got a little bit of time. So let's go to area code 319. Welcome to Third Phase. Where are you calling from, and do you have a UFO sighting you want to report?
Hi, this is Erica Getch, and I'm basically calling from the Midwest. I was able to see I kind of talked to, I'm not sure if it was you or it was a couple nights ago about that video when I was on with Stephen Kelly.
Yeah.
All of us.
And
my voice was a little bit lost, but this is Blake Cousins, and I think.
Oh, hi, Blake. You sound a little different. Yeah, from. And I still stand by I definitely think that it's definitely a hoax, and I really, like I said, I really don't like to totally jump into things, but it angers me when I'm really sure that this is a hoax, and that's the kind of thing that actually upsets me, because it puts off the people who, it's the disinformation thing that is really, it's a shame, because it's not, some people that do hoaxes like this, they think it's funny and all that, but it's not doing a very good service to the community of people that are really serious about this. And since I am a witness and contactee, I definitely have some idea of, the craft and the propulsion and the way it looks. And I really feel like this is not CGI. I really feel that there's a good chance, anyways, that in my opinion, that it's something that, like I said, hanging from, it's actually it's a real object, and it really does look like a stereo speaker inside, but or the other thing that the other guy said, but so that is such a major deception, and it makes me upset.
Well, thanks for your opinion very much. That's what the whole Third Phase of Moon operation operandi is. Filtering, getting the people's information out, no filters, and letting the people decide, and letting the people have an open mind and put it out there, publicly state what you think it is. I want to shoot it around here, because there's videos that are sent to us constantly, and people are trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, and we got to filter it out. And some of these come across as what Lance Robertson, when he sent us his video, it was a late evening right after Thanksgiving. We saw the video, we looked at it, and we decided, are we going to put this up on Third Phase or not and share it with the world? Should we have never shared this with the world and just never let anybody decide? You know, that's a question. There's a lot of these videos that may never be seen again if we choose to do it that way, and then we might cover up something that actually could be the real deal.
Well, if you're asking for my opinion, I'll definitely say it's good to share it all, because you never know. I'm always open to somebody else's opinion, and if they can share some light, you know, I can't say I'm 100% correct either, you know. I'd have to have been there as a witness. So I think it's always good to share everything, though.
Absolutely. Thanks for the response. Go ahead. Anybody else?
I was going to say, too, I think the smoking gun, the guy said he was at a soccer team. He was going to a soccer game or something. He must have had some kids with him. He's not talking to anybody, just himself. What's up with that?
Joe, should we have shared this video, or should we have not shared it?
Well, I have an opinion.
I think it's good that you shared it, but not spend too much time about it, regarding it.
That's what we're doing. We're moving along. We're going on to definitely other things. It was just, another day in the life of Third Phase of Moon. Basically, everybody hang on for the ride. You never know what's going to happen. Definitely, let's go to Vince Pounds. Go ahead. Should we have posted it, or should we have suppressed it?
I think it was good that you posted it, and the fact that there was one key thing that he said on the second interview you had with him in the second footage. You asked him what happened after. Did it leave? Did you film anything of it leaving? And he pretty much cut you off there at that point and didn't answer it directly. Now, another thing is that if this ship is so authentic, let's just see if it happens to show up somewhere in another part of the world. Someone getting some footage, since it's a pretty supposedly bold craft that appears right over some guy's roof. So let's just put that on the back burner, per se, and see if it shows up maybe over Hawaii or over China or somewhere. Then we'll have something cooking.
That's it. Absolutely. If Lance is going to share any more video in the future, we're going to have to tell him, hey, we're looking for a little bit more proof behind the pudding kind of thing, and see what, and if he wants to come out, hey, still the guy wants to remain anonymous. We'll put it out there. We'll get our fillers out and maybe take closer looks at some of these sensationalistic videos that people submit, and then filter it out there. It's a late Thanksgiving night. We had to do a follow-up. He had a second video, so I think that's we made the move and decided to put it out there. Dr. J?
I think that was the best move. We got to share everything, let the people decide. And when we decide that we've come to the conclusion that it's a hoax and the consensus from the people is a hoax, then we did the right thing by telling them that. That just gives Third Phase of the Moon that much more credibility. So I am totally in favor of what you guys did with posting it.
Okay, now let's move along. It's the bottom of the hour. I think it's 8:30 in Los Angeles, moving on to 11:30 p.m. in New York. And if anybody wants to call in, report a UFO sighting, we're live right now at 347-934-0378, taking your calls from around the world. And let's go back into what's going on as people are calling in. Joe Rodriguez is here with us, and his video did make the world news, and this European major media is picking it up. What makes me, entertains me all the time is this Huffington Post never follows up on anything that's exciting. Why didn't they pick up on Joe Rodriguez's video? Why don't they pick up on Robert Bingham's story and everybody that's come and filtered out of this whole thing? What's wrong with Lee Spiegel? What's he doing over there at the Huffington Post? Go ahead, Joe. You should submit it to Lee Spiegel. I bet you he won't touch it because he never touches anything that's good. He only posts up bugs flying by. Go ahead. Right.
Here's the scoop, I think, and that's a very good question. That's the first thing I ask myself. When am I going to get a call from the Huffington Post or somebody, or even LA Times? I'm thinking that the United States isn't ready to start the flames of the UFO phenomena yet. They will, because they'll have no choice because of people like you. They will, but not yet.
Blake, I actually got something to say about that. We got some new news, right, exclusively at Third Phase Moon yesterday.
It's about like people like Joe Rodriguez. And then, we're just the filter out there, and then people are watching Third Phase Moon. But we wouldn't be here without people like Joe Rodriguez. Go ahead, Dr. J.
Well, we had an exclusive with Dr. Stephen Bassett yesterday. We have 4 major things that happened in less than a week's time that show that the U.S. is definitely at least considering disclosure. For the first, there was a committee on December 4th that was closed doors in Washington that discussed the impact of disclosure to the U.S. economically, theologically, sociologically, all those factors. Then a few days later, the Obama administration decides to bring John Podesta as an advisor for a year. John Podesta, if you recall, was the guy who said to the Washington Press Club that we, the people, deserve to know what's going on, and it's our right to know about the UFOs. A couple of days later, there's a fallout. He decides not to do it, so he goes to the New York Times, lists 5 reasons why he's not going to make a good fit with the Obama administration. The 5th reason is the UFO reason. The 4th thing actually happened outside the U.S. Russia's largest media station brought up out of nowhere, decided to bring up a case from 44 years ago of a crashed flying saucer that the Soviets recovered in 1969. And on the mainstream media channel, they showed the recovery operation as well as the autopsy. So clearly something is happening.
Yeah, that's this new breaking video of rehashed old stock footage of this fantastic, looks like a Hollywood movie set, and then it comes across with this new alien autopsy video of the absolutely incredible. What the word is that it was a Russian propaganda motion picture to freak out the U.S. Military at the time, and is it Cold War propaganda, or could it be real? That's the whole thing. Nobody knows, but I sure like to look at that video a lot, and I love the video, and we watch it over and over, and it keeps us wondering what's going on out there. Let's bring in area code 323 in the conversation here. Go ahead. What's your thoughts on why isn't the main media picking it up here in the U.S.?
Well, I'm 323.
Go ahead. I'm sorry about that. I think trying to get Erica, or Erica was with us. Is Erica still with us? I think Erica dropped out. So
can I say something?
Yeah, I'm sure Joe Rodriguez still has more to say about this.
I got something to say. Dr. D. Elias, don't we have, you might know about this as well, both of you, don't we have an ambassador, alien ambassador, or someone like that in the UN or in the United States? Don't we have an ambassador in case aliens make contact or some crap like that?
Yes.
We actually did, but apparently the consensus, and this is something Stephen Bassett told us yesterday, after it made the news that we have appointed an ambassador to speak to ETs, she ended up denying that. She ended up denying that wasn't one of her official duties. So it almost as if they were preparing, and they turned it to a joke.
Interesting.
We got an area code 319 joining us. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's Erica Getchkin. I had to switch phones, and I heard you say something on the air.
Yeah, we wanted Erica's opinion on why is the main media not picking up on some of these incredible videos submitted right here at Third Phase of Moon. The European part of the world's picking them up. The mainstream media is kind of waking up that, hey, they're sharing these stories such as Joe Rodriguez. Why is the Huffington Post and all these others just wanting to pick up bunk UFO sightings that absolutely don't impress anybody, and then they just want to, ruin the whole thing, just like your kind of reference with Lance Robertson? Isn't Huffington Post and all these others people dropping the ball where they just totally ridicule it and don't pick up the story?
Well, you know what, and that's exactly, you made a great case for that, and that's exactly why they want to pick up the crap so that they are keeping the ones, they want to make fun of it as much as they can so that nobody else will believe, or they're hoping that, they want to shame all of us who know that there's life out there. All of us who have genuine sightings, whether they catch it on video or not, all of us people that we know better than this, they want to shame us and to make us feel humiliated when, because, right now it's like, when people talk about, even you having a show like this, it's their way to slap you in the face, in a sense, and be like, you just know your place and shut up, keep everyone dumbed down. And that's the thing, and that's the beauty of it. It's actually working for a lot of people, when they're picking it up, the stuff that's just bunk on other shows. But, that's where you're putting some credibility in having a show like this, and, the 5 steps and everything that you talked about, which I didn't know you had, which is really good because you're teaching people, hey, you want to see, you want to believe. I want to believe that one that we talked about earlier was, I would love to have it be genuine, but I can't say it is, in my own opinion. But, of course, it'd be great to have all this proof, but as soon as you get the proof, there has to be a campaign put out by the powers that be so that they can ruin it for the people. And it keeps us, or rather not us, but the ones in the dark that are still on the border, it keeps them from, coming forward and telling. So it's their way to do that, I think.
We got area code. Thanks, Erica. Area code 540. Is Virginia still with us? From
yes,
state,
sir.
From the, hey, so you've been listening in, first-time caller into Third Phase Moon.
Yes, sir.
Did you want to chime in on why do you think the main media is not picking up on this?
I think they're afraid to admit some of it's going on. I think it kind of got over their heads, my opinion. I think there's some things they don't want to say because it'd probably scare the... It's sort of like the Orson Welles things. You remember what happened? Everybody panicked and started shooting up all kind of stuff. I believe that's what would happen to people. They would panic.
You mean the War of the World?
Huh?
The War of the World?
Well,
yeah.
Not so much around the world. There'll be a lot of people that would just panic. A lot of them would probably be Christian people. I'm a Christian, but a lot of them don't think outside the box, so to speak. I do.
No, she's talking about.
And that's why I told you what happened to me. It kind of freaked me out, And I was like, whoa, this is kind of wild, man. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it did. It freaked me out. Huh?
She's talking about that was the name of Orson Welles' program show, the War of the Worlds. It created a big.
It created a panic. Yeah.
Right, and that's
I believe the government's kind of in on it. They have craft of their own. I know they do.
Possible. Yeah,
and I believe they do, and I believe they're kind of in cahoots with the others, or whatever they claim they are. I believe they're in cahoots with them, and I believe they're kind of getting over their head. They're kind of afraid to let go of it because they're kind of black in their faces, so to speak, that they'll admit that they knew about it, and it make them feel kind of bad toward the public.
Dr. J, as well as we've asked the top ufologists from around the world of if disclosure came out and the aliens would reveal themselves to the people, would it be pretty much Armageddon at the end of the day? Like, would the Earth fall apart? And
no, I don't think it would be that. I think people would open up to try to see what it is. I mean, because if they wanted to, what are these things supposed to be? I believe if they wanted to take us out, they could have done it. Could have, done it. If they wanted to take us out, they could have done it.
I absolutely agree with you. They were hostile. They had their tent a long, long time in our human history.
And yeah, they can bend light, they can do all that stuff. We can do that now with the Army stuff. We can do it now. There's a lot of stuff. Like I told you about, the computer's been shut off 3 times. It's been shut right off. I mean, clean. The board was cleaned. Everything I had saved was cleaned off. Everything. Gone.
That's a really bad feeling if your information, everything you've does not, must not be a good day at your home in Virginia when that happens. And for anybody that would have.
It's not common around here. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Area 51 or something. It's not common around here. But I'm not the only one that's seen these things around here.
You got to get a video camera and.
No, every time I see it, every time I see something, I'm caught off guard. and I don't have a good enough camera for that. I need to get me another camera. I don't have one. I'm not looking for fame from nobody. I'm not looking for an autograph. Believe me, I'm not. It's just what I'm seeing. I know what I'm seeing, and it's like I said, it's freaked me out. But I wouldn't expect.
What do you think, Erica?
I've had pulse lights at me and everything. They know I'm around, and I feel like I'm being followed. I don't know.
We're going to keep. We got to get everybody's comments in there. Just stand by. So he's feeling followed at the moment by extraterrestrial ET, and we get that a lot with abductions. People have a feeling that once they're followed, that now they're going to be abducted. Dr. J, what are some of the symptoms that we've just released? Dr. Jacobs' full-on 1 hour plus interview right here on Third Phase of Moon in regards to hypnotic regression and any. What do you think's going on with the
symptoms for abductees to people to watch for? Well, for starters, if you've had any, if you've seen any UFOs or remember being on a road and vaguely remembering a craft above you, that's for starters. Second, if you have some bits of missing time that you genuinely can't account for. I'm not talking about getting drunk and passing out and saying, okay, that's missing time. I'm talking about sober missing time. And then, of course, unusual dreams that you recall big eyes staring in front of you. Yep. Those are the three big indicators that would usually lead you to the next step of hypnotic regression.
How about a bunch of owls?
Bunch of what?
Owls. He said owls.
Absolutely. That because owls are very. As a matter of fact, a lot of abductees say that the ETs use owls, and because it's easier to conceal. Like, for instance, rather than remembering two big black eyes staring at you from a gray face, it's easier for them to place in your memory an owl looking at you in place of them, because the owl's eyes can simulate that. So, yes, if you remember seeing owls, you have missing time, and you remember seeing craft, I would recommend getting regression. And Third Phase of Moon can definitely put you in touch with a few of the people.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to him, because I had something else I wanted to say, but I didn't want to say it on the air, because I know something that nobody didn't want to say it on the air.
Just say it now. Just say it. Let's share it with the world. This is exclusive. Why not share it with people? You're not alone going through this. If what you're saying, it sounds like
I found some metal in my body.
Yeah, this is where. Yeah, this is we're looking for alien implants. Do you still have it in your body?
Yeah.
We could help you with this.
That's why I told you. Speak me out.
Okay, so where is it in your body?
Next step we need to do is get an X-ray.
Yeah, I haven't died. I mean, that's fine.
Okay, where do you think where is it in your body right now?
It's in my arm.
Perfect. We can't help anybody if there's any kind of anomaly or an alien implant possibility above the neck, but we do have connections if we have it on the arm. So let's stop here on some of the connection, because we could really help you out. But we're going to have to get some information, and I know you want to remain, low-key, but we could help you out.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to need your email address. So we got your number, right? So we have it here. We're going to call you off air after this is done, okay? In regards
I'll leave you another one, too. So.
Pardon me?
I can leave you another number, too.
Okay, but we could call you on this 540 area code? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. J, we do have these connections, right, Dr. J, and people can help us out. We're not going to name names, but we could get top people on this.
Absolutely. We have some of the top scientists involved. We have some of the top researchers involved, as well as, this is a name we don't need to hide, Dr. Lear. He's a member of the Third Phase of Moon team, and that's the alien implant doctor right there. So everything that needs to be analyzed, Third Phase of Moon, is the connections to make it happen.
Dr. Lear's from UC LA, whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of him. I've seen videos on him, and he seems like a pretty nice guy.
He's one of the best. He's one of the best. We're connected with her.
This object's about a quarter of an inch long in my arm.
You just you're going to stand by. We're going to definitely what we're going to first need for you to do is get an X-ray in your local area, and then you're going to have to submit that to us via email, and we'll give you our contact information. Basically, after the email.
How am I going to just get an X-ray? I mean, how am I going to go about it? I mean, just tell them I hit my arm or something, or what am I going to do?
That's absolutely.
Say you if it's in your arm, say you remember working and you remember you cut yourself and you think something that you cut yourself may have gotten in your arm, something like that. Just make up a story that's not
My dad seems to think that I might have got some metal in my arm because I
there you go. That's all you need.
And that's what he said. Maybe it's what happened. I know better. I've used a phone and I've put a scanner in it, and I have silver on, and I moved it. It went off when I got to the spot. I mean, it went off. So, like I said, it's got me stumped too.
I tell you, you just basically go to the X-ray area, get your X-ray of your arm. You don't have to make up stories or anything like that. Just say, I want an X-ray for it. Just pay for it, and then if there's something there, then we'll cover the cost. It doesn't matter on that. We just want the X-rays first, and then we'll move along.
Like I said, I don't want no recognition on. I just, fame or nothing.
We want to find out the truth, and then we could.
Because what I saw, I wasn't expecting it, and then I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then I saw about 4 or 5 days later, I saw the jet, and I saw him go across the sky, and I've seen him slow down and pulsate right at me and take off.
Erica,
I come out one day with a laser beam with a red beam light, fired at it, and took it and just aimed at it with the little light, and the craft went green. I saw it.
Green is actual. People say that green represents the good, and then there's other people, like I think Robert Bingham brings up the green UFOs. I'm not exactly sure. I think he believes that these are the benevolent UFO entities. Erica, how do you think? I think this is the first time you've joined us right here at Third Phase Moon on how the people call in, share their stories, and we kind of hopefully help this man from Virginia out and find out what's going on and what kind of maybe he has an alien implant. This is something that is a real phenomenon that does exist, and we've been following it for a couple of years right here at Third Phase of Moon.
Yeah, I think it's really good that, you're doing this because, one of the main things that people need is just the major support system that, for example, that you guys are having, and letting people, you're doing follow-ups. That's what is so good. It's a follow-up. You're willing to go, not just, okay, thanks for your testimony, bye-bye, hang up, and then there's nothing else. It's just like you're all alone again after that. And that is, it's really needed in the community, and there is a lot of people that do that. But there are some people, and especially, with the radio show hosts and things, there are some people that just, they just, maybe they're just not thinking of it, they're busy, whatever the reasons are, but that, we do need to have a lot more support system. And so there's good organizations out there, and but I say, like, for this gentleman that was just talking about his, if you have any idea, if any intuition, you have to use your intuition, and you do have, your intuition is telling you something's going on. And that's definitely what, we all need to listen to that more, especially with various scenarios that's going on. So I definitely say go ahead and don't deny the follow-up stuff. I encourage everyone to, but you got to watch out who don't you agree with me, you guys? You have to watch out who you tell, because you don't want to tell someone that's going to say, I think you need a psychiatric evaluation. Because, some people will, get scared and they'll think that way.
Absolutely. Erica, thanks for that. I just wanted to let everybody know we're coming up on the end of our show, but I want to give everybody, a 1-minute last shout-out for whatever you want to say to, our Third Phase of Moon viewers from around the world. You're going to be speaking to them right now. And let's just start off from the man from Virginia. You got 1 minute. Go ahead. Any last words? We'll be contacting you right after the show.
Well, all I want to say is to people, I'm not a very big voice, but it always starts with one person, okay? Wars are always started with one person. But I'm going to say this to people. If you don't speak, nobody's going to hear you. I know what I saw. It's got to get out. Something's going on, and I've got to find out for myself. because I feel like I've been cornered for some reason. I don't know why I've been picked out. I have no idea. None.
Absolutely fantastic. The man from Virginia, we will be keeping in touch with him, and I'm sure this story will continue and have legs, because I could hear from the voice and the sincerity that this is a very amazing call-in. Now let's go to Joe Rodriguez, private investigator. Okay. 1 minute, any last closing statements for the man himself, referred to as the mirror, the gumshoe, because he's a private investigator there on the road.
I love it.
Joe Rodriguez. Go ahead.
I love it. I was just going to say, gentleman from Virginia, I do believe that he thinks he has something in his arm, and if he does, what I would do is I would get, for example, what's his name, Geraldo Rivera, who was opening the vaults or whatever at one time. Get people like him to be there at the medical office as they're removing this thing and inspecting it, so they can say this is not from this earth or something like that, because that's proof right there if it is really an implant from the aliens. I mean, you're a walking advertisement for what we're all about right now.
Mr. Joe Rodriguez, we do have the connections from material scientists that will analyze this on a micron level, and hopefully these x-rays will show something in his arm, and we're going to be following up on that. I suggest everybody to take a look at UFO Joe Rodriguez UFO channel, definitely, and check out his videos. We'll be posting it in the description again. Thanks, Joe Rodriguez from Los Angeles.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, now let's go to Mr. Vince Pounds. You got 1 minute to, show's getting down. Vince, I really want to thank you for submitting your UFO photos, and we're looking forward to the UFO video that hopefully we could post in on this radio show. Vince.
Yeah, they're on their way. It says it's still working on the Google network. Other things. And now, just a lot of things go through my head when I'm listening to the show. However, I'm just going to address a couple things. When I brought it before online about Stephen Bassett, when he did the public hearing earlier this year, was it? Right in the midst of it, I would happen to be at a particular, well, I could say at Home Depot, and lo and behold, who was shopping there? Our Congresswoman Maxine Waters. And I actually brought it to her attention. I stepped up and I said, Miss Waters, are you aware that currently today there's an ongoing public hearing based on disclosure? And no, she wasn't aware of it. And she says, well, I happen to be in charge of the financial end of what's going on in Washington. And I said, well, that would be great, because a lot of this has to do with the financial end, what's going on in Washington. And I said, remember when you get home to look up Stephen Bassett, and she said she certainly will. It was very short and brief. Now, as far as let's see, of the media and disclosure coming along, what will be the next thing? I see a lot going on now. Current things on YouTube. I think what Mr. Corso, the late Colonel Corso, his son, is a forerunner of something greater, because I think he was like a piece of disclosure to what was going on behind in the military side. But I think it broke off into different branches and individuals who may still have their own personal agendas, but I believe they're weakening out at this time now, at the latter end. And very few are like, oh, well, why not just show off with this and show off that? And a lot of people are getting footage of a lot of EMP material that's flying around globally, not just locally, from these other branches of military, including the Air Force. Don't get me wrong, the Air Force is involved too. I believe they are the bigger piece of this whole deal.
Vince, it's been incredible, but we have to move along, and I know you have a lot to say, but unfortunately we're not going to get to it. Join us on, again, Third Phase of Moon, Friday nights, anytime, and we'll be sending out the links. Vince Pounds, hopefully we're going to get his video tonight. He's uploading us a follow-up update of this what he's claiming is a massive UFO mothership cloaked as a star in the night skies over Los Angeles and could be seen pretty much anywhere on the eastern coast. Have your cameras ready and keep your eyes out. Now, let's get to Erica. Any final words to the Third Phase of Moon viewers around the world?
Well, if anybody wants to get a hold of me for any reason, you know, I'm just going to spell my last name, so you can just put Erica Getch. It's GOETSCH, and I have a Gmail account and Facebook. So, you know, I'm willing to provide some support if anyone needs it too as well. And I want you guys to add me so I can talk to you more.
Erica, you're more than welcome to come back on Third Phase Moon. We love your input and your, your communication skills, communicating with the round table. Hey, thanks a lot. You keep in touch, Erica, and join us again next Friday. We'd appreciate you having you back. Dr. J. Andy Elias.
I just want everyone out there to keep your eyes in the sky and your minds open and listen to Third Phase of Moon Radio, Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, Thursdays 8 to 10 Eastern. You could also join us for our roundtable Thursday morning, 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. Again, freedomslips.com. Studio A.
Thank you, Dr. J. Andy Elias. Definitely Thursdays, Studio A. Look for Freedom Slips. And if anybody out there has captured anything incredible, like the guest below, Joe Rodriguez, people from around the world, we're looking for incredible videos, and we appreciate everybody that called in on this live radio show. So the best way to contact Third Phase Moon is via Skype or Facebook. My name's Blake Cousins, and we'll see you next time.